Hey guys, this video is going to cover the best settings for recoil in Apex Legends using a Strikepack. First, you're going to need a mod pass, which is a $15 annual subscription that will give you access to Mod Central. When you plug in the Strikepack to your computer and open up Mod Central, you'll be able to click the mod packs that you have available. You can drop down and select Apex Legends, click on the tool icon. You're going to be brought to the mod configurator. Now these are my settings that we're going to initially work with. It's very important you look at your sensitivity. I recommend having a higher sensitivity. Do not use the default sensitivity for Apex Legends because you just can't look around fast enough. With a fast-paced FPS such as Apex, you're going to want to always be aware of your surroundings, especially in close quarter combat. So I use a 6. I recommend at least a 4 with a zoomed out field of vision. My field of view zoomed out, I believe, is a 90. So I recommend you play around with the different settings, but I have a 6 for my sensitivity in game and a 5 for my ADS sensitivity. And make sure this is obviously matching with your settings in Apex Legends. Then you want to go to the weapons profiles you have loaded. So for this example, I have the R301 carbine in the first profile, which is triangle for PS4 and Y for Xbox. I have R99 as my number 2, which is circle, cross is flatline, and square is vault. Notice that I have the anti-recoil strength at 100% for each of these guns. Now this may not work, but we will tweak these settings in-game as I will show you later. I also have aim assist disabled for the mod. I personally do not use aim assist. I don't find it helpful. Plus it shakes your screen and it provides a little bit of stick drift. So your crosshairs will just naturally start drifting while your screen is shaking. I think that's really obviously unhelpful, but I don't think the advantage of having increased aim assist is all that much. I really didn't notice a difference. So I have disabled it for this video. If you have it enabled, you'll have to play around even more with these settings because I believe that stick drift will need to be compensated for. I recommend just leaving aim assist disabled. We are going to save configuration. Then we will need to save slots to device. Give it about 10 seconds, and then we're going to hop into Apex and PS4. Okay, so we are going to demonstrate the recoil on the vault. First, note that the Strikepack mods are off because of the white light, so this recoil is the natural recoil of the vault. Right, go straight up. You can see my settings right now for sensitivity is super high for look and aiming down sights at a 5 with classic response curve and small look dead zone. The look dead zone doesn't have too much to do with this, it's just minor movements on your joystick, which I found really not to make a difference for the Strikepack. Now I will turn on the mod, so I will hold the left button and hit the right trigger. You can tell the mod is on by the blinking lights. I have Apex saved as profile mod 1. So now if I aim down sights, well right now there's no gun profile loaded, so once again it's not perfect. Right, so in order to load the gun profile, you remember I had the vault in slot position number 4, so that means D-pad down and then square. So hold D-pad down and then hit square. You'll notice that the light blinked for a little bit to indicate that I did switch. It also vibrates the controller so you could feel it if you're holding the Strikepack itself. Then you aim down sights again. And now the vault is loaded and the recoil is working as intended. You can see it's not obviously a perfect dot, but it's as good as you're going to get for a programmed recoil control software. So again, just holding down shoot without controlling for the recoil. Now I will work on, again, torso shots only for this dummy without pressing on the stick to control recoil. See, it's not perfect, right? In this case, it went up over his head, so you can make the case the recoil was not strong enough. It did not press down enough to control for the upwards recoil. So one thing you can do within the game is to strengthen that adjuster that I had initially at 100%. So if I want to do that, I basically hold L2, R2, and press up or down depending on how much I want to adjust the recoil. So if I press L2, R2, and I press down, 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 what it's going to do is it's going to adjust the recoil downwards. So now if I shoot at the torso, see, now the recoil is more controlled downwards, which means it's not tilting upwards as before. Now if I go back to the mod pass, what that means is that the number for the vault, instead of being 100, will most likely be, I think, a 115, because I pressed down 3 times, so that's 5 of an increment each time you press the down button. This time, once again, with the recoil control, much better. One other thing I will mention is the use of scopes with the recoil mod. So without a scope, the vault works just as intended after you made the adjustment, right? If you pick up a 2x, now watch what happens in my settings if I have my per optic set to the same as what I have for ADS, which is very high out of 5. If I don't touch the right joystick, it's not going to fully control. Try again right in the middle. It's going to be not enough recoil. Now what happens if I adjust the per optic setting to super high? Well, now the problem is it's controlled too much. It's going to go straight down. So if you are using a scope, I recommend simply just setting your scope to be the same sensitivity as your natural look sensitivity for ADS and controlling it yourself. It's not that hard to just slightly hold down. The recoil is already handled by the main mechanism of the Strikepack, so it's much easier to control the recoil with the Strikepack recoil reduction already on. So hopefully that helps out with this issue. I recommend using scopes when necessary, but for something like the Vault or the R99, probably not. Like I would use a hemlock, and I would just simply not worry about a gun profile and just use the hemlock as intended for a scope. You can use snipers as intended. Single shot weapons are not really a big issue with the recoil reduction in your mod. So I would just leave the gun profile, whatever you have as is, and use scopes on single fire or burst weapons. And now I will switch to an R99. If you remember, that was profile number 2. So down circle. Switch guns to the R99. So again, the recoil is not strong enough. So a 100 is not controlling the recoil to the best of the ability that you can. So left stick or L2, R2 again, and we can press down, down, down. So now let's try this again with the adjustment, and that's much better. So that is how you adjust your recoil settings for the optimal Strikepack mod. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you like the mod and you think that this is something you want to try out, I have linked a product description to Amazon for the Strikepack below as well. Feel free to give this video a like if you want to increase the engagement, and I'll see you in the next video.